Zarco.
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
So what outside?
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Greetings, guys.
Oh my God. Hey. Hello? Yes.
What?
Hey.
Yeah.
What happened? She's an emergency call for my husband.
Husband.
You know what?
What's
What?
that?
There was some chicken.
Good morning, everyone. Good
Morning, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. Morning.
Morning.
So the meeting will come to order. The meeting will come to order. The secretary will read the minutes.
So, good morning everyone. At the regular meeting of the Telecom Management held in their hall on Tuesday morning, March 21, 2017, the President and the Chair and Ms. Dimapilis acting as Secretary, the minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. The Planning Committee stated that they will thoroughly discuss their topic proposal for the training program as we go along the meeting with the initiative of Ms. Guadalupe and her co-members. The technical committee who reported through Mr. Marquez had a series of resolutions which were thoroughly discussed and amended and finally adopted as follows. Resolved, the proposal for the venue of the training program will be held at JFH 301. Still, the date is yet to be announced. On the advertisement and audience preparation, it was discussed that aside from the second-year HRD students, there would be guests that would be given an invitation once everything is settled. While the stage design, tarpaulins, flyers, or brochures would be up for discussion after the topic. On motion of Ms. Vivares, Telecom Management, adjourned at 11 a.m. Eloisa Dimapilis, Secretary.
So the secretary's draft the minutes of the March meeting was sent to everyone last week, and a copy is in your meeting's packet. Knowing you all to be judicious minute readers, please let me know now if you found any errors. Are there any corrections to the minutes as distributed? So if there are no corrections, the minutes stand approved as read. The treasurer will now report.
You have in your meeting packets the financial reports for the period of January 1st to February 28th. And now we have no funds in our savings to be allotted for upcoming training program. Since we will be providing food for our guests, I suggest that we should all contribute an amount of 100 pesos to be allotted for the food of our guests or audience, and the remaining will be allotted for the stage designs, advertisements, such as flyers, brochures, and tarpaulin. And I think it will be enough to cover all of our expenses for the said events. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Ms. President, I move that, but I think our allotted fund for the said event is too much. Since it's not a big event, I suggest to lower down our allotted funds for the training program to an amount of 750 pesos, which would cost everyone 80 pesos each. The excess money from the food
Several advertisements or invitations will be given ahead of time to inform the students and the guests about the upcoming program. I sent you all the copies of the stage design on your email, so you may check now
All
the
those
proposal.
in favor of using the allocated funds for the training program to 750 pesos, say yes, and to those opposed, say no.
Yes.
So the motion is carried.
The chair recognizes Ms. Zarco for a report.
Thank you, Ms. Chairperson. As for today's meeting, I am here to discuss about the several topics that were suggested last meeting. The suggested topics are as follows: the communication, goal setting, and time management. The committee had different opinions, and if it would be okay, I would like to call these people who suggested these topics and tell us the reason why they suggested this.
So thank you, Ms. Zarco. I think there are a number of recommendations here, and we'll take them up one at a time.
Allow me to read the first. Thank you, Mr. Person. I think goal setting is a suitable topic for our current training program, since most of the attendees will be second year literature students. It is but beneficial for them. Aside from this, all our guests will be welcomed with open arms, since it can stand as an opportunity for them to have an additional knowledge. Aside from this, I think it will be upbeat for us to have a motivational training program for the audience to have more chance of putting their interest in the subject matter. That's all.
I second the motion.
Mr. Person, I have another suggestion.
In my opinion, time management should be considered as a topic because not all, because most of the students frequently cram. We might as well educate them about the importance of time and how they could maximize it.
Ms. President, please hear out my suggestion. I suggest communication as our topic. Nowadays, people are very aware of the social media that can be used to connect, especially for communication. People are using different kinds of applications, such as Messenger, Vivares, WeChat, and also Skype. Those are just some of the examples for the purpose of connection. With the help of technology, communication has never been better. Passing in your resumes, or maybe chatting with your colleagues about work, or just simply connecting to your friends and family. And what if there's something more than what you can do with the communication? Wouldn't that be a great idea? For instance, it focuses on communication through technology. And that's all. Thank you, Ms. President.
I second the motion. So it has been moved by Ms. Guadalupe and seconded that communication should be our topic for the training program. If there are no further discussion, the motion is to establish communication as our topic for the training program. All those in favor of communication as our topic say yes. Those opposed say no.
Yes.
So the motion is carried.
Their president is the current financial chairman, and the treasurer report given earlier covered everything.
Audiences, complete information for the training program that has not been finalized. Documentation committee will report at the next meeting.
Next order of business is the report of the special committees. The chair recognizes Ms. Noora for the food committee report.
Thank you, Ms. President. With regards to the food that will be distributed to the guest audiences, we will be inviting few outsiders. I suggest that we should give each one of them a heavy meal, for instance, rice and any meal. The estimated guests could be possibly around 15 people.
I second the motion, but I also suggest giving them some beverage like Sesto.
So it has been moved by Ms. Noora and seconded by Ms. Rivera. If there are no further discussion, the motion is to approve the food to be given to our guests. All those in favor of the food say yes, and those opposed say no.
Yes.
So the motion is carried. The chair recognizes Ms. Victorio for the technical committee report.
Thank you, Ms. President. Our team decided to provide flyers on the said event to guide the audience about the flow program. Several advertisements or invitations would be given ahead of time to inform the students and the guests about the upcoming program. I brought here the proposal for the stage design, which will be thoroughly discussed by Mr. Marquez. Thank you.
As for the stage design, since we'll be using a speech lab at the FH 201, there's no need for us to put the already designs on the stage, but rather I propose the usage of the PowerPoint presentation to make our venue enticing to the audience and provide a plot to put on the edge of the stage to have some ambience of formality.
Are there any corrections to the proposal of the technical team? Any suggestions? No. If there are no corrections, then we stand approved as read. In the next order of business is the reports of the special committee. The chair recognizes Ms. Zarco for the program committee report.
Thank you, Ms. Chairperson. As for the program, well, here is the proposed flow for the said event. So our program will exactly start at 10:15 a.m. after the 15-minute preparation, which includes the technical testing such as microphone and speaker testing, the stage design and the PowerPoint presentations, and the MCs already confirmed their attendance, and it would be filled by Ms. Dimapilis and Ms. Pecina, while the acting speakers would be Ms. Zarco and Mr. Marquez. Should any concern would arise, we would inform the chairperson ahead of time. Thank you.
I second the motion.
Are there any corrections to the proposal of the program committee?
No.
So if there are no corrections, the proposal stand approved as read. So we need to set another date for our next meeting. Shall we meet next at 3 p.m. on April 6?
Sure.
Yes.
Hearing no objection, we'll meet on April 6 at 3 p.m. at the discussion room. There being no further business to discuss, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. The meeting will come to order. The secretary will read the minutes.
So, good morning everyone. At the regular meeting of the Telco Management held in their hall, Friday morning, March 24, 2017, the President and the Chair and Ms. Dimapilis acting as Secretary, the minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. The food that will be distributed to the guest audiences were approved by the initiative of Ms. Noora and Ms. Rivera, while the technical committee reported by Mr. Marquez had a series of resolutions which were thoroughly discussed and amended, and finally adopted with regards to the stage, design, and advertisement. On motion of Ms. Vivares, Telco Management adjourned at 11 a.m., Eloisa Dimapilis, Secretary.
So the secretary's draft of the minutes of the last meeting was sent to everyone's meetings packet. So are there any corrections to the minutes as distributed? If there are no corrections, the minutes stand approved as read. So the planning and program committee will now report with regards to the topic of our seminar.
Thank you, Mr. President. On our last meeting, we agreed that we will use communication as our topic for the said event. Since we didn't discuss in the last meeting what would be our specific topic about communication, there are some recommendations from our team. I call on Ms. Guadalupe.
Thank you, Ms. Zarco. Being the one who suggested the topic about communication, I suggest to focus our topic on communication about how it is affected by the current technology. As you all know, the technology has been rapidly changing, which I think affected our communication channels rather, since we would easily contact our peers through technology.
I agree with you, Ms. Guadalupe. And as far as I remember, he mentioned during our last meeting that there are communication channels that emerge through the involving of technology, like social media sites like Facebook and Viber. And I think we need to educate the audience about the responsible use of the social media and communicating our messages.
But Ms. Rivera, isn't it going to be a redundant topic? Since there was several meetings held in the university about the social media.
I think the students need to be reminded about these things.
I second the motion.
Allow me to interrupt, Ms. President, but I think it's more appropriate and enticing as well for the audience for us to further discuss about the communication in the business world. Since we will give them a training program, so it will be a nice thing to do if we will tackle about the communication in a business setup, or should I say the interpersonal skills that we should do in a company.
Since our audiences are mostly HRD students and some of our invited guests, I agree with Mr. Marquez because it's an appropriate topic. I suggest to divide the topic to our two speakers. Mr. Marquez will talk about the basic information on communication, while Ms. Zarco will talk on how to improve their interpersonal skills in the corporate world.
Same motion.
I think it would serve as an educational training program to our audiences, Ms. President.
So it has been moved by Mr. Marquez, and I think everyone agreed to the proposal of the Planning and Program Committee. So the motion is carried. Since this is just an emergency meeting because we have to talk about the topic that we have to do in our training program, and it is already approved by the committees, why don't we get an update from the other committees about the progress of our preparation? Shall we start with the Food Committee?
Thank you, Ms. President. We agreed from our last meeting that we will contribute an amount of 80 pesos each to be allocated for the foods of our audiences. Yesterday, I talked about the cook who is a friend of mine, and we are still negotiating about the food to be given. We will inform you right away, Ms. President, if the discussion is settled. That's all. Thank you.
With regards to the drinks, I will be the one who will be personally buying on the market. And Ms. President, I will update you about the expenses.
So thank you, Ms. Noora and Ms. Rivera. How about the Technical Committee?
As for the stage design, it has been finalized last meeting, so there were no alterations. Several flyers will be given to our audience to have a quick glimpse for our training program, and we're still working on it.
We are also currently designing the invitations to be given to our invited audiences for formality purposes. Other matters are still being polished, Mr. President.
So thank you, Ms. Victoria and Mr. Marquez. Are there any other matters that we have to discuss?
Nothing else, Ms. President, but you have to meet our sponsors after this emergency meeting.
Thank you for reminding me, Ms. Dimapilis. I think that's enough for today's meeting. We're still going to meet on April 6 as scheduled. Thank you, everyone. The meeting is adjourned.